Billiken fans, welcome back. It's Zach Miller and Peter Hale. It's the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, thank you all so much for listening. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Billiken fans, it is springtime. It is outdoor weather. It is getting outside, and it is, eating outside weather. And no better food to snack on when you're hanging out outdoors than Two Men in a Garden salsa. Make sure you pick it up your next trip to the local grocery store. If you're out of town or you forget, use the QR code at the bottom of the screen or the link in the description to head over to their website. Enter the code MMP at checkout. Get all that salsa shipped for free. They are the salsa pickle company here in St. Louis. They bring you everything from mild to screaming hot salsa, hot mango, and sugar-free. They have pickles from classic dill to smoky barbecue. Visit them online, like I said, at twomeninthegarden.com. Shop your favorite flavors and follow them on social media at Two Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates. Pete, Sweet Pete. I am so hyped for this episode. We are taking a trip. We are going on a trip. We are hopping on a plane, and we are heading where?
I believe you called it Boisvert Beach on Trey Green Island, Zach.
Yes. We sat down with Trey Green and Zach Boisvert, aka ZB. And we talked about this season. We reminisced about the big things and the little things that stuck out to us throughout this season. I hope you enjoy it. Pete, you and I both had a blast. So check out this interview right now. Billiken fans, we are on the road. We're coming to you from Boisvert Beach on Trey Green Island right now. We flew out on Spirit Airlines. Unfortunately, our return flight has been canceled, so don't know how we're going to get off this beach. Trey, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. I mean, it's good what you guys are doing. I was happy when ZB told me that you guys wanted to do a podcast, so I'm happy to be here.
Trey, what's the superior way to spell Zach? Would you say it's Z-A-C or Z-A-K?
I really think Z-A-C. You know what I'm saying? Like Z-A-C. Okay, that's kind of what I'm used to. When I seen Zach Z-A-K, I kind of knew this guy was going to be pretty cool. So
it's funny too because it's the first time I've ever heard Trey refer to me as Zach there in the be professional on the podcast, but it's funny.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So many players struggled with the spelling of my name, my last name over the years. So I just kind of started going by ZB to the point where we always joke Amari McCautry, halfway through his freshman year, asked me what my real name was, as in no idea. Like he just was like, wait a second, your name's not ZB. Like, what's your real name? And so we had explained, the initials.
Right.
I literally have never heard. No one in our program calls me Zach. Maybe Natalia Shirt sometimes calls me Zachary, but it's weird hearing Trey call me Zach there.
So the correct answer actually is that both spellings are wrong. So it should be, it's 4 letters. It should be 4 letters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trey, let's talk about Trey Green Island. When did you become aware of it? I was worried at first because people immediately once you sign, feel like this is gonna be Trey Green Island. I go, guys, please do not heap all this praise on him. Do not put this pressure on him.
Nah. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It was actually hilarious. I seen it on a Twitter post. My dad actually sent it to me. That was my first time seeing it. And it just kind of stuck. The coaches, we got this. It is the what do we do? The uglies. And the uglies, we got the uglies going on, and they kind of have fun with it. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So I'll explain. The uglies are a compilation we do coming out of every game, every win. And Jason Fang, who was extraordinaire. He's absolutely incredible. Incredible. He's gonna be a great coach one day. He's gonna be a great coach, a great young coach, and he puts together these funny. We have the good, the stuff we did well, the bad, the stuff we need to improve on, and then the uglies are just times where we can laugh at each other. And I'll say this: no one is safe from the uglies. And so Robbie Avila, I think, got featured on more uglies in his 4-year career than anyone. So nobody is safe there. That's what Trey's referring
to. So this is maybe more of a Zak Miller question here, but why don't you take this one?
So towards the end of the season, there was some talk about the jerseys. Obviously, the names on the back, we all know they weren't great, but like, fans were feeling better vibes with certain jerseys. Does that permeate to the locker room? Does that sort of thing happen in a locker room? Like, is there a vibe check on the jerseys? Like, I don't know.
I mean, not really. We kind of noticed it. We noticed it when we first seen it, and it's a Maurice jersey. I think it is. It's a Maurice jersey where it got the small Makachi on there. So we always make fun of him about when we wear those jerseys. He actually he throws a fit every time we have those in the locker room. But it's just kind of like a little joke thing going on, honestly, around the locker room. It's nothing really, crazy, nothing like that.
I'll say the person, and this kind of gives a little window into like how Coach Schertz's mind works. Coach Schertz has he has a borderline photographic memory. I mean, his ability to remember stats and remember plays, but like he could on a dime recite our record by jersey color in 2 seconds.
Oh wow!
So I will say this: if anyone was aware of it, it was Josh Schertz, because even I think it was the year before that the grays were awesome for us, and he was like, and his funny thing was he was like, I don't think they look good, but we win in them, so we gotta roll with it. And I will say the last name thing was a Nike nationwide problem.
Yeah, we saw it on others,
and so that was not a St. Louis thing. That was a Nike thing. So
did that influence either that or the records in those jerseys? Did that influence what you wore to the tournament?
No, I do think, like, I'm trying to think. So, what were we? We were blue against.
It was blue, it was the new jerseys versus the old jerseys, not so much the color. That was what people were noticing.
The one thing I will say is there is nothing better than the royal blue old fat. Like, that is perfect. I am a sucker for our royal blues. Are just perfect in my mind. They really are.
Yeah.
Those are clean. So I want to ask about this Grand Canyon game, right? Because this is the point in the season where we've played a few bye games, and no disrespect to those first few opponents or anything like that, but you don't really know how good you are yet. And then we get to this Grand Canyon game. What were the nerves like going into that one, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a good game. Just the fact that we knew Grand Canyon was a good team. We also knew kind of the situation that happened last year with how that went down at the free throw line and things like that. But we went about it, focusing and preparing for them like, it was a quad 2 game. We kind of knew the players that they had. We knew, honestly, too, that it was going to be a good crowd for us. And that game was one of the earlier games in the season where the crowd was into it. You could feel the energy in there a little bit. But it was a fun environment. I mean, they're going to be pretty good this year, too. So, I think it's always an exciting matchup when we face up against them.
Zach, ZB, sorry. Jeez. Oh, man.
I guess I started that. My bad. I guess I started something.
We could have multiple ones on the pod.
What did you see? What did you like about it, the team going into that game? And, what did you like about the performance?
Like TG said, we had or the first early slate was a little bit light. It was home games. It wasn't against great competition, but we had the really good showing in the secret scrimmage against Iowa that whose our result wasn't so secret, but it was our first chance, like Trey said, to test ourselves against quality opponent in front of a crowd. And I just like think back on and just remark on like how good our defense was that night, TG. That's where my mind goes. We hold them to 28%, 28%, shooting, and we just took their will. I thought Amari McCautry was so good and speaks to his level of versatility. And he did an unbelievable job on Nana. Grand Canyon's best player were so good, and and this is where Coach Shirts and like TG can speak to this as well. Coach Shirts he's as good as there is at designing a game plan and being able to look at what a team does and like hone in on, hey, here's what we need to do, be great at to beat them. And I think a lot of coaches will look at like certain plays they run, but Coach Shirts has the ability to see the forest or the trees a little bit and really hone in on like a specific thing. And going to that game, he's like, we have to be great with our empty pick and roll defense. So for fans, empty pick and roll means it's on a side of the floor without a player position in the corner behind the pick and roll. So empty would be you'd see us get into a lot of them as well, but we identified that our empty pick and roll defense needed to be elite in that game. And I just remember we just took their will, and this is coach's offense, and our offense gets a lot of acclaim. But I hope people don't I hope people don't neglect to mention the fact that we're the number one defense in the conference as well. And we ended up finishing number 2 in the country in field goal percentage defense. I mean, we're an elite defensive team, and I just remember there is nothing like taking a team's will when they just cannot score anymore. And we just took it to them. And I remember we ended up winning that game by 14, but that was actually the only kill shot, if I'm not mistaken. So kill shot is a 10 run or greater. I believe the last 12 or 13 points in that game were all scored by Grand Canyon. It is the only kill shot we gave up in non-league play. And that was only one was Trey, that was sacking the boys.
Oh my gosh.
Their zone getting
the
the 2-3
zone
game, one of the top 2 threes in the country.
That was the only time it got torched.
Yeah.
What's amazing is my next question was going to be, what's it like to really lock in on defense and stack stops like that? So I'll send it over to Trey for that one.
Yeah.
What's the feeling like?
I mean, more of like on the court, as far as like us, we feel like connected. I think that's the main thing. Like we're talking. It's just everything is on one accord. Everything hits, and you can like feel that as the moment is going on, and we're in, playing defense. You got your guys that make certain plays, but overall, I mean, coaches, these guys, they just want to they just want to see us make the right plays. That's offense and defense. I mean, you don't have to be spectacular or, do anything outside of any type of realm. It's just, are you making the right plays? And again, that's on both sides of the court. So when you see that, I mean, it just drives everybody, guys on the bench, guys in the games, even the coaches, ZB, running in his chair, just running on air and everything like that. You got PG, it's fun. It's fun.
I want to ask you guys about kind of a quirk of the schedule this past year that it looks like is going to happen again this year. And that's when you combine a road trip to have both an MTE and a true road game. And it looks like you're going to do it again in California this year. When you're out there for like a full week, how do you guys kind of stay up and motivated in that?
Well, let's ask the guy, because I thought your real coming out was trip to California, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking
for sure.
And,
sure.
I just kind of give it, and I'll pitch it to Trey in a second, but just like Coach and I had seen Trey a ton in his high school career, and so we had an idea, and that of how good he would be, and how good of a player was, how good he'd be in the system, and there was just an excitement level, and then into the summer about him, and like. I remember early in Trey, I remember a specific conversation where you were pressing.
I was just about to,
it was funny because at the time I also like you were shooting like 75%, but after so many and we track everything in practice. But I mean, Trey has an amazing, and it speaks to just I really think between him and Ish, I won't choose which one. I was about to say it out, but like you have two of the greatest shooters in the country there, and Trey has an amazing stat that in all the things we track. Trey has never shot below 40% in a month in his entire time at SLU. So that is in practice, that is June, July, that is August, September, all the way through. And so, like, I remember, like, Trey's freaking out because he's only shooting like 35%. And then finally we go on the road, Trey, and I'll let you kind of get into this. And then Trey really gets it going out there. So Trey, Trey like California so much, he made us go back for 3 games.
That's hilarious because the story that he's talking about, I mean, I remember vividly, like just kind of worrying in a sense, like just nothing was really connecting. The home games, they were fun, but I know there was more in the tank that I could give. And I remember it was right before we played Santa Clara. So the first game out there, I seen ZB just chilling. He's in his own world, chilling. And I was like, let me go talk to ZB for a little bit. Say it again.
He's got popcorn?
Nah, he was over there. It was breakfast time. Yeah, he had a good little spot. He had some good views too, where he seen the mountains and everything. So I was like, let me go chill with him. And he told me, he was like, dude, no, I feel it. Like you got about 6 or 7 threes coming real soon. And that night, like that game, it was clicking. And from there on, like you could just see the confidence from not just him, but everybody on the team in the fact that, they knew what I was capable of. And it was a fun trip from, being out there in the tournament and also going to LMU. That was also fun. And to go to show, I mean, yeah, I had a good shooting night, but also too, like we played great as a team out there. It wasn't, and Coach Scherz preached to us like, shooting is the variant of the game. So if you're able to do other little things and play defense, get stops, win the possession games, those are signs of a really good team. So even though it wasn't a great shooting, performance from the team, we still felt like we were leaving California with some boost.
Trey, I wanted to talk to you about your 3-point shot because I saw you do this one thing early in the season, and it might have been 1 or 2 times, and I never saw it again, and I was just really annoyed. You did this thing where you got the ball off a handoff, and you almost like when you don't have anybody with you, you toss it out, pass it,
spin it out.
You did this in the middle of a play, and I don't know how you did it, but you never did it again. But I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
See, you might have to run that back for me. I might have to see that just because
we just gotta pull up all get synergy up. I don't remember which game it was, but it was early.
It's actually great because like I think there's a part with like one thing is that, and again, it speaks to a little bit the connection and credit, and you guys play a role in this, but the connection fans have with our team. But like, and I Robbie, people love Robbie and people love Kellen being a St. Louis guy, but like Trey has his own has his own cult following. I think part of it has to do with they see a guy out there that's like he's the only one on our team that's short, like ginormous. He shoots threes from wherever on the court. He's my mom's favorite player, and well, and even like there are the elements that like PG that that Trey will do, and like that like make it look easy. But like the cool thing is if you peek behind the curtain and the way this guy works and the work he's done with his entire life, and then it's played out over the last year with Phil Gaetano, that stuff he makes look easy. I hope fans understand just how hard a shot that him and those are that Ish and him are flying off of. And like the one I think of is like I think of the deep ones, but also like my favorite on the year is and I hope some fans get this. Trey, my favorite was the Peter Griffin shot against St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonnie's.
where you're falling into the St. Bonaventure bench. But between
Ish really had me going that game. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like
that was cool.
That was like I gotta get on Ish level this game. Like he was man.
Well, you and Ish had a little Friday night thing going where you guys just couldn't stop. You guys wouldn't miss the 2 miss there for on those back-to-back Friday nights. But
why is it called Peter Griffin?
So there, I don't know. Trey, you might know it a little better.
Yeah.
Like there's this meme where Peter Griffin in Family Guy, like shoots a 3 where like
he's fading, like he's in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like fading to the side, and it looks so goofy. It's hilarious, but that's literally like what I looked like when you slow it down a little bit. Like, it's funny.
So it's a late half, and you know, Zach, maybe you can post it for when you post the podcast. It's a late half three that Trey hits off a dribble handoff from Tiano, and he literally like falls into the St. Bonaventure bench, and he like floats into the bench, and it matches the meme perfectly. It will make sense as soon as you see it.
When you see it, yes.
Before we get to that game, because that game we do want to ask about that game because that game was so fun.
Right.
But Trey, your shot specifically, it seems like you like to be moving when you shoot. Like Zach and I have been talking about this all season. But like there are some guys who you leave him open, he squares up, has time and space, boom, like knocks it down. You are. It always seems like not just moving, but you're moving to your left or your right. Like it's almost like you have to be moving and not set to shoot it. Am I right there?
No, you are right. And that comes from like early stages, and from my pops, honestly. So like when I was really younger, I was maybe in like the 4th grade, and I was playing on my middle school basketball team. There's actually a picture that my dad has, and I'm in my jersey, and I'm like, the jersey's like a dress on me, but I play. Like I'm actually in the game, and I'm scoring and everything like that. And I could never get a catch and shoot shot because it will always get blocked. Like I was like 3 feet tall, like it will always get blocked. So the practice of like movement, shooting, and balance and everything like that with the same form that came from my dad being like in the 4th grade, just literally not being able to do it at all. It would just get blocked every time. And then it got to the point where I would just move and I would just figure out keeping the same form and keeping the same shot as if I was just catching and shooting it. So
you mentioned the kind of cult following that each player kind of gets, and I will say that I brought my girlfriend and her kids to the GW game. By the way, thank you for coming back in that one. That was almost a disaster for me, so thank you. But he, her oldest was like, I asked him who his favorite. He was like, I like number 3. So that it's funny.
See, there we go. That was a good game too that you guys were able to catch.
Yeah. Let's talk about that Bonaventure game because the whole game I was just giggling. Like after a certain point, it just becomes like funny. Like it's not even exciting anymore. It's just hilarious. What was kind of the mood within the team? Like when you're on the court, on the bench, like what are you guys talking about? As it just keeps getting more and more, like it just keeps piling on.
TG, you take that.
I was about to say, do you want to tell them what you came in the locker room and said?
Oh, all right. So
we don't need another BTA situation.
No.
We're good.
We're trying to keep Trey on Coach's good side here.
Man.
So it's funny. We had 3 really long road trips this year. We went out to California for 3 games, and then we our first road trip in league went to VCU, and then we stayed out east and went to LaSalle. Well, and then again, the next time we hit the road, we went to Duquesne, played Duquesne on a Tuesday night, and then stayed out east and played St. Bonaventure on a Friday. And we don't end the game against Duquesne the way we wanted to. We still win, but I swear Trey can attest to this. A close win is kind of where coach is at his most lathered up because he can really be hard and keep pressing. Coach Schertz has incredible what I call competitive stamina. Is like good enough is never good enough. Like it's just keep going and keep like we're playing to a standard and we're keep pushing. So we don't end that game the way we want to. So we come off that. We had a couple hard days of practice. We stayed out east. We're in the middle of nowhere in New York. And anyways, before the game, I'm just doing my wandering around. As Coach Schertz says, ZB's just doing ZB things. And I happen to go on the concourse. I might have been looking for popcorn, but maybe I think it was a little too early for the popcorn to be going. And I walk into a meeting with all the event staff. And I happen to, as I turn the corner, they happen to be discussing if we, SLU is nationally ranked. If we win, here is going to be the procedure for protecting from a court storming. And Coach Schertz is always looking for small things like this. And so I bring in a coach, and coach's like, oh, that's awesome. And so he tells the team that before the game that these guys are already thinking about what it's going to look like after they win and what they're going to do off a court storm. And I don't know if our guys needed any more extra. And because I honestly, I think coming off of kind of the last couple of days, they were just ready to go. But I'll coach for a long time, TJ, and I'll say this, and like, I'll coach for a long time. I don't know if I will ever see a cleaner display of offensive basketball than what took place in that first half. Like 58-26, and to be up 32 points and hear that place dead silent was amazing. And that was just like I said, just an unbelievable display of offensive basketball across the board.
And see, it's crazy. We were in the locker room, and I think it was Q that actually said it. Like after the game, we were, celebrating everything like that. And Q was just like, what if ZB was just lying? Like just said something, just like to come in here and motivate us. Like, and we all just started dying laughing because like it worked. Like once he said that, like it was just like goosebumps. Like we all just.
I'll say this to you. I wouldn't tell you if I was lying, but I actually wasn't lying.
Nah, you told the exact same story just now.
If it wasn't the case, I wouldn't tell you, but I'm telling you that was
yeah, no, that's the exact same story you told us. So I believe you, but it lit a fire in us for sure.
The story I think everybody wants to hear is, where in God's name did Brady get that hat?
He's talking about the wool one, right?
Yeah, the really big one.
Yes. That was Davidson, right?
That was Davidson.
I think it was Davidson.
Yeah.
I thought that was Bonaventure, because
Bonaventure.
Yeah,
because it's like Siberia.
The cold.
That's Brady Dunlap, man. He walks the own drum. That is a different dude. I love him to death.
Love him.
We're gonna miss him, but that is a different dude. And that game, I think that game more than any other speaks to like the power of our depth. And I truly think we were 9 deep this year, and we're as deep of a team as there was in college basketball. There wasn't a team that is, in all the numbers in terms of number of guys that average double digits, number of guys that average 8 or more, number of guys, it was just incredible, the depth. And I think that game speaks just the power and the quality, the power of the unit. And that you go on the road in this league, it's hard. It is hard to win on the road. And Brady stepping up and going 6 for 6 from 3, 22 points. We don't win that game without Brady, and we don't win that game without the depth. And I think that speaks to the level of sacrifice of everyone across the board. When you play 9, I'll say this for Trey. I won't make Trey says no one's playing as much as they'd want, but I think I think our guys understood that if we want to get to, we have all these talented guys. I remember Coach saying, if you want to play more, I can limit the rotation 8, but whoever doesn't want to play, come up and see me in my office. And he where his office would be. But again, I think it speaks to the level of sacrifice for our guys. And I think it speaks to absolutely the level of depth to have a guy who was 8th on our team in scoring come off. And he's the 8th guy on the scouting report, and he comes in for 22. And he was so good that night. So good.
Yeah. That also goes credit to, coaches, Coach Shirt, ZB, getting guys like that. That's kind of like the main goal for, recruiting. Like, are they a good person? Will they be able to buy into the overall bigger picture? And we had from top to bottom group of guys that completely bought in. From Robbie all the way down to Jay Shirts and Sack. Like, it was just a complete buy-in to everybody. And to see Brady go out there, because honestly, before that, he was struggling too. He had a little mental slump where he was going through, and because we all see how hard each other works. Brady, me, Ish, everybody top to bottom. And we felt where he was coming from, but we knew that it was a matter of time. And to see him go out there and go 6 for 6, which is crazy still in a live game, college basketball game, that was kind of like a monkey off of his back and ours too.
And if I can jump in, Trey just talked about it with the quality of shooting. I really think, I hope SLU fans appreciate kind of like the shooting displays that these guys would put on. But we break up. We did. We have a thing within practice where, some of it is, the work that these guys put in on their own, like Trey said, is unbelievable. Trey's in there every single day. It's the same way. Honestly, across the board, we had just a group of everyday guys. and work they do, and that's why they can go out and in front of thousands. It looks completely normal and completely easy. But one thing we do in practice, we have this thing called positional shooting, where we'll break down. I don't even know how it happened, but like you end up breaking down by like similar player types, and we have 4 hoops, so you kind of there's some like shape shifting that goes on, and somehow it ends up where I end up with a group of Trey, Brady, and Ish, which was the easiest group in the world to rebound for, because you can just stand underneath the net. The ball just ends up, it just falls. It's not missing where there's other baskets where the balls miss a lot all over the gym. For those 3, it's just you sit on the net, the ball flows out. And it was also fun as a coach. I could really challenge myself, because like if you just give them the basic drills, they're just not going to miss, and it doesn't challenge them at all. So again, our group would be shooting from like 35 feet out, and then you look over and all the other hoops are shooting like basic catch-shoot threes.
Yes,
these guys are working on their movement threes, on their their Trey's working on the ones he shoots with great range, and so I always think like I was always lucky, because I'll say this, with those 3 guys, there would truly be minutes would go by sometimes between misses, because I'm telling you, you could sit there and just stand underneath the net and just keep balls out there.
And the fun part about that, like we would go at each other, like while going at that, like we'd just talk junk, like, "Oh, you missing? Like, are you okay?" Like, like ZB joins in on it too. Like, it's a fun environment just in general.
Absolutely. So.
I want to ask you guys about that Dayton game, the first one. What's the series that's come to be known by fans affectionately as the Arch Baron Cup.
By the way, are you guys aware that that's complete bullshit? Like the Arch Baron Cup rivalry, the name is completely made up.
I didn't know that. It was funny. Peter just said that, and I was so that's not a thing.
The fans made it up.
It's a thing. It's a thing now. Like it's a worked ourselves into a shoot.
Well, one thing I would that's hilarious, because one thing I love about college sports is like what makes college sports are the rivalries, and I just think it's a lot of fun, and like I think like, and I was at Army for 5 years, and like obviously you have Navy there, and like that rivalry makes that place special, and it's cool too. Is like, I'll be honest, before I got to SLU, I didn't realize SLU and Dayton were a rival, but then you get here and it's just fun. And you look around, you get catch up to speed about the rivalry, and you're like, all right, I'm in. And so I have some fun with it too now. And honestly, now they've had our number here a little bit, so we got to get them back, Trey. But that game at our place against Dayton was it was fun. It was so much fun. TG, you had to go. They're talking about your good game. So you take it from there, man. What do you got on the Dayton game?
Yeah, he had 7 threes in that one.
Yeah. I mean, really, I'm gonna be honest. It really started with the G-Dub game before that. Like George Washington game, that was like really when I felt the energy. You know what I'm saying? The crowd, and then when you go from that back-to-back home games, and then we got Dayton, and then it's a whiteout sellout game. Student section is in there. I'm one of the first ones to be on the court. They're in there before I'm on the court. Like, it's just everybody's ready. You look up, game's about to start, and it's just completely white, like a blizzard, literally, like what the goal was to be set for. And we just went on a run. I mean, I kind of had my own personal thing with Dayton, just because coming from Xavier, that was kind of like a thing. We scrimmaged them at Dayton.
Yeah.
And I experienced their crowd for the first time in a like old rivalry game. And they get crazy. They get crazy in there. But yeah, going into that game, it was just fun. I mean, we all were ready for it. We knew kind of the rivalry, the history behind everything. And I don't know, ZB definitely remembers this, but Coach Scherz had a pregame talk with us in the locker room, and that one was probably the best one where he was like, "Our time is now."
Yeah, did he channeled Herb Brooks, right? Yeah.
Our time is now. Like, it was just like, all right, yeah. Now I looked around, everybody's ready to play. Paul, everybody, even Jay Shirts, ready to go out there and play some 2-3. But
the thing I remember about that game is we get off to a great start. We're up 42. I think we go up 24. 42-18. They come back a little bit, and they're chipping
Yeah.
up the lead a little bit. They make it a little bit more interesting. And TG, you hit 2 threes in that game, one off of a snap where they went under, and
Yeah.
then you hit this hard step back, hard step back right in front of our bench. That was kind of like a no, yes, but I mean that's kind of Trey's thing. Trey's taking tough ones, and we always joke as a staff that Trey has an unbelievable knack, not only of making no, yes, but when he had just made a mistake on defense and Coach Schertz is ready to rip him and ready to get him out of the game, he hits a tough three. Trey was 100% on threes taken when he was in danger of being subbed out, and he hits this tough step right in front of our bench, and the place just goes nuts. And that's and then I think Zach, I think you posted a clip today of Ish's 3 in that game. Trey, I don't know if you saw this clip. Ish takes a 3 in that game from the top of the key, and like the ball isn't even out of his hands, and Trey you already have your hands up signaling.
Yeah,
that was peak,
that's a good clip. That's a great clip. And actually, PG sent it to our group chat. So me and Ish, we kind of just like have our workout with PG, and we're close. And PG sent it, and it was a good clip.
Yeah.
Like whenever ball leave Ish hands or Brady hands, anybody's, it's just kind of like we're expecting it to go in. So
what'd you think of seeing your coach behind the bar?
I thought it was hilarious. I mean, it honestly shows, who Coach Schertz is, man. I mean, he always finds, a way to balance the seriousness with, having fun and just, enjoying every moment of it. It was hilarious when actually we were thinking about going to the bar. We were just like, we're gonna hold off for we're gonna hold off for a little bit. Let him have his shine. But it's fun, man. I mean, these guys, coach staff, they like I said, they find the joy in all of it, and they make this a fun thing versus just something where we just have to do. Like, it's always fun coming in and being in the gym with them every day. So
that one of my favorite moments from that game though is just looking back into my left. Every time you made a 3, there was this one Dayton fan that would just go, I don't know. Every time. Every time. It was it was so cathartic.
Nah, that's hilarious. I like watching back on the film a little bit too, looking at like the coaches sometimes, like the other team's coaches, whenever like they know, Robbie gets an open 3 or something, and they're just before the ball even like goes up or something. It's kind of funny to watch. So
actually, there's a really good one. Ricardo Greer, who actually just left Dayton staff. Trey, you make a 3 in that game. And they call timeout, and he just loses it on a kid.
It was crazy.
He went under on you, and so that's always fun.
Yes,
there was a good one.
You're on the other side of it a lot too, though. So
no, for sure. That's why I can't speak too much about it.
There was a good one at Loyola. Ish hits a 3 right in front of the crowd, and these 2 guys just look at each other, and they just decide to get up and leave.
Yeah.
Man,
they were courtside, right? Like just
courtside. Just got up and left right after. It was the timing was.
That's what's so fun about this, and that you and it's actually honestly, and I don't want to put words in TG's mouth. This is even fun going through, and like we went 29 games in it, and like there's and what you remember is these small moments. You remember that night was so cool. I mean, that again, I can coach for a long time. I've never seen a gym taken over by an opposing team like that. I mean, it was so fun. It was such a surreal experience. The SLU chant of the under 4 media timeout was so loud. It was so deafening. Like it was that was one of the coolest experiences. It really was.
No, it definitely was. It definitely was. I remember that.
We knew it was coming too. Like I lived in Chicago for like 3 years out of college, and a lot of my college friends are from there or are there now. And every single person I know who lives in Chicago was like, "Yeah, we're gonna be there. I'm bringing my kids, bringing my brother, bringing my parents."
Yeah.
And we started talking like, How many tickets do you think SLU is going to have in this gym? Like I think it's going to be pretty nuts.
It was truly a 50-50 split. And by the time we got it going there in the second half, it just like it was all SLU fans. That was the word is surreal. It really was for SLU fans to come out and show out like that it was a lot of fun. It really was.
It hurt my soul to miss it. I ruined Valentine's Day the year before in Chicago for Loyola.
Every year.
I couldn't every year I do ruin Valentine's Day. No, but yeah, so I couldn't make it up to Chicago. I was like seeing the videos, I had unbelievable amount of FOMO. When you look at, we can't just talk about all the good things. We got to be fair and balanced here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to talk about we got to talk about the Dayton game, right? The away game. Pete was sitting front row, and like, so my question, just honesty, like, when you the BTA video, right? Are you like that Dayton? You go into Dayton and Dayton kind of they get the best of you. Are you kind of like? Shit.
No. Like do you think that the way that Shirt seizes on something to use it as like motivation, do you think that got flipped on you guys basically?
And I don't care. And to be fair, I'm just asked. This is totally me being silly.
I'll jump in and I'll say, like, ultimately, I think like that might be worth a couple. It's not even worth a couple points. It's like you're thinking about the start of the game. By the time the ball goes in the air, it's just two teams. You're too worried about anything. You're too worried about anything else other than executing your schemes. Right. I think it gets down to that, and I think that the point was, I think the point with that was Dayton finally was healthy, and Latong was finally back, and Latong was finally healthy. And really, if you take a look and you remove Dayton from from February 1 on. Dayton was playing at a level of an at-large team, and you can look at the tour, absolutely, look at the KenPom, and that's what that was. That was Dayton finally healthy, finally fully performed with a chip on their shoulder. I think more had to do with the fact that they had gotten embarrassed on national TV, 3.5 weeks before. I thought it had much more to do with that, but I think it was really spoke to that. They were a much better team at that point than they were 3.5 weeks prior at our place. And that was a team that was playing their best basketball in, I think, one of the best home environments and one of the best home environments in all of college basketball. And that's part of what makes a rivalry great is that hey, we got a great deal going here in St. Louis and we've won 22 home games in a row. And that right there, as a college basketball fan, and I encourage any SLU fan to go check out UD Arena. I mean, that's one of the. I'll put that up. I'll say this: any top 10 list you're doing of college basketball arenas, University UD Arena better be on that, and that's what makes the rivalry so fun. And that's what that was for me. Was a team was finally healthy, and playing their best ball, and with a chip on their shoulder from they just got embarrassed on national TV 3.5 weeks earlier. And I'll give all the credit in the world to Anthony Grant in that. It's funny. I've been in the league now, 4 years, and every year, it seems like there's a crisis there in Central Ohio where their fans are not happy with it. And you know what? Every single year, Anthony Grant, calm as can be, steers them out of it. And I thought this past year was a great example of it, that they were down for the count, and Anthony Grant just steady hand, and they worked their way into a bye in the A10 tournament, and they're 40 minutes away from going to the NCAA tournament. They knocked us off, in the semifinal game. So I think it speaks to how good that team was when they were healthy and fully formed.
No, yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you have anything to add there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great point. I mean, Dayton was at that point hitting their stride with everything. Like ZB said, they were really healthy. And they honestly, that second time we played them, they changed up a couple things also as far as how they run their offense and how they operate things. And I think that was a big boost for them, just because it was hard to kind of scout them because we played them 3 weeks before. They're doing something completely different now. completely different.
Really, what it was to my point about Anthony Grant was it's kind of going back to how he had played, and they were running ball screen motion more. Where it was just a piece of what they had done when we first played them, and so yeah, that's credit to them and credit to them kind of reorganizing themselves, coming off of our game, and having the need for change in that situation.
Yeah, and to the point of the BTA post, I mean, that was more of a get back thing. There was a clip before we played them the first time with one of the players who had an interview.
Oh yeah,
and he had a couple words for us, so that was kind of just like some get back motivation type of thing. It was kind of
and totally, like, I love that stuff. I think like I've said that the fight in the stands last year, the year before last, like the fight this year with VCU, I said it's like it's good for the brand. People are interested in fighting over SLU basketball. Like that's crazy. But what happens? It's my actual question though. What happens in those fights? Is it just like is it just a bunch of guys like puffing their chest out, or what do we?
Were you on the court, Trey?
I wasn't on the court. I mean, I got to the court, but I wasn't the 5 on the court.
I think everybody.
I'm gonna put it that way.
Over this summer about about the need to stay off the court, but yeah.
But
you can get that. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just guys playing tough. There's a couple shoves there. There's a couple guys pulling each other off. There's really no swinging going on. I mean, there's guys that just bump each other, grab. There is nothing major.
The one thing I can say is that, and Trey, I don't know if you agree.
Yeah.
You also don't know what's going on, because at that point, the clock's winding down. You're looking away, and all of a sudden you see just a crowd, and you instinctively run over there. And as a coach, you can pause the clips and go back and say, oh, this happened. Like at the time, you're just literally trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And then as a coach, you're just trying to make sure you get your own guys away from it. And so obviously it just stunk because coming off what was a amazing win, the tension
back
to that. That was the thing that was most unfortunate about it is that it took us about. The whole situation took about 15 minutes to settle, and we just want to get in the locker room and celebrate. And we had another 15 minutes to get in there. So,
yeah. Go ahead, Trey.
No, you're good. You're good.
I want to be respectful of your guys' time. I know we're coming up on it here, but
I'm having.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, I'm good.
I want to ask about this Georgia game, right? Maybe one that was a little more fun to talk about than Dayton on the road. But did the way that Ole Miss
if you had gone Dayton in the A10 tournament there, I was gonna be like, all right, come on,
man.
What do you want to bring Stanford next? You want to go URI at home? URI on the road? What do we want here? Like, you want to go with George Mason? No, I'm joking.
I was at the wrong 2 Dayton games this season, so I don't need to relive those anymore. But
I don't know if you'll be invited back for any day. Yeah, I'm joking. Georgia. One thing about that is, that team, it was so cool. The very first play of the game, they try to run a post-up play at Robbie. And Quentin Jones makes a great play. He gets a hand on the basketball. Robbie pokes it away, and we're out running. We turn it into points right away. And so that was so cool because I think we had a reputation. I don't think it was deserved, but I think we had a reputation as a team that ran pretty offense. I don't think people realized just how good we were defensively, but. If you were going to make one, you're going to say, hey, I don't know if they always play with an appropriate level of physicality. And part of it was to do when we emphasize, because of who we recruit, we have great skill and we emphasize a lot of skill rather than like the idea of running and jumping and being strong and athletes and that. It was really cool to see us, who at times we didn't play with appropriate level of physicality, go up against an SEC team that was friggin' huge across the board. And from the very first play, them trying to duck Robbie in, we disrupt it, poke it away. We were the tougher, we were the more physical team from the very first possession to the very last. And I'll let TG jump in from there. But that's what's going to stick out to me is just we were the tougher, more physical team for all 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And credit to Georgia. I mean, they were a good team. we knew that they had kind of some weaknesses in some areas where we felt like we could attack and capitalize off of, especially on their defensive end, and how we played and some of the advantages we would like to create. And that night, honestly, it was going for everybody. Everybody just, it was our first, tournament playing with each other in March Madness. Like, it was kind of like a boost for us, just because this is surreal. Like, it's something you dream about being in. Playing AAU basketball and growing up, like playing in March. And so, knowing they were an SEC team, we had to go in there with a chip on our shoulder and kind of prove some things. And we definitely went out there and proved it, top to bottom.
Could be up 40 in an NCAA tournament first round game.
It was just
60. And I'll always remember too, TG, we go in the locker room up 17, and they're going to come out and throw a punch. They're not going to roll. Yep. And the corny cliche in coaching is the first 5 minutes of the second half. But I'll never forget, we go up 17 at the halftime. We come out, we score 8 in a row, and just the perfect response. They call timeout. We go on another 10-0 run. They call another timeout, and at that point, game was 35. And again, that like just the response by you guys, our team, to just like not let up, and like at 17 to stretch it to 25, to stretch it to 35. And that point, it was really just the game playing out from then on. And I'll never forget that. And that we're talking about taking over gyms. That was amazing. I mean, it's 9:45 at night in Buffalo, New York. Ways, and our fans that night. I mean, it was so cool. It was a lot of fun.
I got a chance to watch the Georgia Ole Miss game, and this was like the first time, as people can attest, I don't know ball, but this was one of the first times I noticed kind of what Ole Miss was doing to shut down Georgia's offense. And I saw a lot of what you guys had done in your like best moments of the season on defense. Did you take any inspiration from what Ole Miss did, or did you see that similarity?
Not that exact game. We knew we were going to have to be great. Georgia was a very talented, very explosive team. They were, really high scoring. We knew we needed to take them out of transition, and we knew we need to make them. We knew we need to do a great job in defense transition, which we did. And we knew we needed to do a great job with guarding the ball at the point of attack. With point of attack defense, we need to guard the ball individually and collectively, and play with great physicality. And we did that. And really, kind of the one game plan thing that sticks out to me was, as the year went, teams could mix up their coverages and figuring out where they were going to put their 5 men, where they're going to put their shot blocker. And a lot of teams had success with putting it on either Amari McCautcher or Kellen Thames. And we were going in the game. We weren't sure what Georgia was going to do. And if you were trying to play our team, because of the unique style that we play, we are really hard to prepare for, because it's completely unlike how anyone else plays college basketball, how anyone else plays in college. And so I remember that first possession, they came out and they had their 5 men on Robbie, and they were basically going to be like, hey, we're going to try to play our rules. I'm telling you, I swear, right hand in there, I turned to Phil. I said, they got no chance. And I just knew if you were going to try to execute your normal defensive rules and they're going to put their 5 men on Robbie, we were just going to cut them up. And we did. I mean, we scored on 15. We had 15 no dribble layups in that game in the half court, 15 drop off cut layups. We scored 66 points in the paint in that game. And I knew when they were trying to match us and trying to play their defensive rules, I knew we were going to be able to get whatever we wanted offensively.
You guys, one of the things about when we've had guests on our show, one of the things that goes over best is we always seem to get some good travel stories. Did you guys have any road trips this year that kind of went sideways or got a little goofy?
You got it, yeah.
Not really. I mean, everything was smooth. You just never. I mean, it was every road trip was pretty fun. We always find time to, go as a team and eat, do something collectively. Coach Shirts, his normal character self.
Any memorable moments like that?
Trey, I got a couple. One is when we went to eat before the LaSalle game in Philly. I remember, and Coach is so good. He's so poignant with stuff like this. And we were sitting in a TGI Fridays right on City Ave. And the coaches kind of sit away from the players. The players don't want to sit in the, coaches aren't cool anymore. So we get pushed. We're in the corner, and our guys were arguing. I think they were arguing about maybe top 10 all time where Kobe sits, or you guys can argue about anything.
Yeah.
But it was and coach at one point said, like, listen to this. And he like had our coaches table like kind of go quiet, and like just the chatter and the laughing and the arguing going on. And he's like, this is what good teams sound like. This is what a great team sounds like. And I'll never forget that point. I'm trying to think.
I actually do remember that. It was a point I looked around and there were people like just in the restaurant, just like looking back and just, it was, I was like, all right, guys, we in the restaurant right now. Like, but
the one other one that comes to mind is kind of going back to the California trip. We have our 2 games, and we have a great win against Santa Clara. Santa Clara team we knew was really good. We knew that was an NCAA tournament team. We beat them, and then we have an unfortunate ending there to Stanford, losing literally the most stomach punch way possible. And so the next day, we were spending an extra day in the resort in Palm Springs, and it is as beautiful of a scene as there is. And you have Joshua Tree National Park an hour away, but I mean, it is beautiful. You got mountains in the backdrop. The weather isn't great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like the whole team was still in like mourning. And so like the entire day, like you'd see people walking around by themselves, and you knew what they were thinking. You knew what they were thinking about the free throw rebound. And so I always think of that like it was a perfect, like it was paradise. But like we're like, and if Q gets more than a fingertip on that ball goes into the cheerleaders and we win. It would have been the perfect day. But it was funny that we spent an entire day in absolute great weather in a picturesque environment, but everyone was morose and almost walking around the resort. So,
ZB mentioned, and I thought it was really, really brilliant, is the whole like these little moments we talk about. And I was wondering, Trey, if there's one from in a game where you remember just one thing that still just sticks in your head from the season that kind of really random.
Really random.
Or, besides Tate taking his shirt off and dancing.
I would say that I told ZB this one, and this was my first really Josh shirts, like kind of get on trade type of thing. Like it was we were playing at LaSalle, first time playing them, and I was having a terrible game. Like personally, it was a bad game. And I finally made a play in the second half. And I like stole the ball, going baseline. I got my hands on the ball. We went the other way, got in transition. There was the very next timeout. We sit down. It's a full timeout. Coach Church is like, Trey Green, welcome to the game. We're in Philadelphia. We're playing LaSalle. We glad to have you here. Like just like, and I couldn't do anything but just kind of like almost like chuckled in a way because like damn, like he's right. Like I haven't done nothing really up until this point, but it was kind of just like a wake up call, reality check from him. So
I watching Kellen Thames save a ball between his legs like he's in a bad basketball movie. Like that scene in Catwoman, the basketball season and scene in Catwoman. Save it.
Yeah.
Like that's literally like how somebody who's never watched basketball before would be like, this will be something sick that like in a basketball game. What's it like to watch Kellen do that stuff game in, game out?
He's just an unbelievable athlete. KT has so much in his bag that he can do. He's really explosive. But to see that in real time, it's just like, how do you just like react? Know to react that way, like, and just make a play too. Like he threw it straight to Q, and we scored off of it. So he's definitely made more plays like that throughout the season. But it's just to watch him in action like that is kind of fun to watch.
I think it's always fun to see like other teams like kind of come face to face with some of the individual talents on our team for the first time, and like be it like the movement threes that Ish and Trey hit, the pure athleticism of Kellen Thames, and just the like long strides and the like just the brilliant flashes of athleticism are fun. Or even like I'll say this, like the people being confounded with like the slow nature of Robbie, or like the footwork of Dion Brown, of how like he gets in there and he pivots, and then flips it off, and like looking like, wait, what is that? Is that a travel? They don't know. Like, it's always fun because again, all those talents came together and really they created the sum is greater than the whole, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. As I try to screw up the saying, but like all those talents come together to create, what was an unbelievable group. But all those individual talents as other opponents like were confronted with them for the first time, it was always fun.
Yeah.
Unbelievable group as well said. You've got 9 coming back this season. SLU fans, like our excitement is through the roof. That means there's 6 new guys coming in, 3 out of high school, 3 out of the portal. I'm wondering if you guys, I know you haven't had a ton of time to like spend with them yet or anything like that. And I think they're all signed, so I think you can talk about them. But like, are there any particular things that stand out from this group that has you guys excited for next season?
I just think that there's going to be, and I'll start off just because I'm a little bit more familiar with these guys than Trey are. Like, I just think, we're going to have a level of depth that, again, is like I just said I thought we were as deep as of a team as there was in college basketball last year. Like, I actually think we're going to have even more depth this year. I mean,
Agreed.
I have a number of guys. I think we return the greatest perimeter core, and certainly in mid-major basketball. You could argue we return as much production on perimeter as anyone in the country. With bringing 3 all-league guys back, along with Ish and Quentin Jones. So that core is going to be awesome, and we really we add some pieces there on the front court. Are we going to I hate to sound like Brad Pitt there in Moneyball, but we're not going to like point to someone and say, hey, go replace Robbie Avila. That's not how it's going to work. We're going to try to replace him in the aggregate. And guess what? We're going to be a different team. We're going to be a different team. And that's the magic of coach's system. That's the magic of how we play, is that we're going to everyone talks about the system. The system's going to modify itself to the talents of the best players. And we're going to find opportunities to put guys in their best spots. And we're going to be different. And that's still, that discovery process really starts right now with the coaching staff looking at who we have and what they can do, and trying to formulate the game model for the best way to play. It's being done right now by the players, by them putting the work in and becoming better players right now. And I'll say this, I've got a chance to sit on Trey's workouts. Trey's a better player right now than he was against the University of Michigan. Guarantee it. He's been working his butt off. He's stronger. He's quicker. He's been working really hard with Jake Manzelman. He's been working really hard with Phil, with PG. So like all of our players getting better, and then really when our guys convene on campus on June 8th, and then it's going to be an area of discovery. And it's going to be 8 weeks of getting in the gym and trying to figure ourselves out and putting the base layer, putting the foundation of our system in, both offensively and defensively, and discovering our team and trying to get a feel for what do we have. And then they go away for a couple of weeks, they come back, and then we really get to work then when they come back with practice and start building up. And then we roll into non-con. We're going to go through some bad times together. We're going to go through some good times, some hard wins, some good wins, some hard losses, and then ultimately we're going to find ourselves there at some point. What that looks like, I can't wait. Cannot.
Right.
I'm ready to run through a wall. Unbelievable. No, I have one more question for TG. Let's talk about the 3 of the guys that didn't get much time on the court this year. I'm curious, or I guess let's talk about Badara and Luke. Though we Billiken fans didn't see any of those guys. I'm curious your take on it, or not necessarily your take on them, but maybe what you like about them, what you saw in practice from them, and what to expect this year.
I love their games. I mean, Badar, he adds that size, that length, the athleticism too, to kind of stretch the floor. You got Latch, who just has a real good feeling for the game. Latch, he was on the scout team last year. He always get me on those back cuts to the point where we call them latch cuts. Like, he just knows when to cut and knows how. He has a good feel for the game, and he can shoot the ball really well. It's going to be exciting. Those guys have developed for sure. They're in the gym constantly Tone is putting in constant work with Badara. Latch is getting it in with, everybody. He's just finding his way. But to see them grow and develop, I mean, we all been a freshman, and we're encouraging them along their process and along their journey. I think it's going to be a fun year for all of us, including them. Still a lot of learning and growing to do, not just from them, but from all of us, especially with, a new team coming apart with new guys. But again, I think those guys are well on their way. So,
somebody just asked us what on Twitter who we thought the starting five was, and Pete and I sat here before we started recording, before you guys hopped on. I'm like, obviously it's that. Obviously it's and then I got to. Well, hold on, maybe it's not obvious. Maybe I don't know what to do here. So it's deep. Guys,
Trey,
I didn't really have a question.
I'll help you out there. Don't answer that one. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stay quiet.
And that's above our pay grade.
That's out of my hands, big dog.
Don't put us in the spot.
We would never.
To be honest, it's dude. I'm excited. I think Billiken fans are excited. I hope the city of St. Louis is excited. Guys, this has been this has been as exciting as that one time in Fuse back in college. So thank you both for coming on. It was awesome.
Great. This is great. I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate what you guys do. Part of what makes this place special is the fan support and the loyal fans. And again, 19-0 at home this year, 22 straight wins at Chaffetz Arena. And you guys are a part of that. But again, speaking to all Billiken fans, the season's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be the most anticipated season of Billiken basketball in history. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of work to do from now until then. Again, we can't wait to the product that we're going to put on the floor for those guys, for you guys. It's going to be awesome. So again, appreciate what you guys do. And this is fun. Just again,
it was
29 wins. It's fun going a trip down memory lane and thinking of. I remember this game. I remember that. And I don't know about you, Trey. There's a lot of fun on our end.
For sure. It definitely was. And I appreciate you guys as well. Like what ZB said, you guys are a big part of this with the fans and everything like that. You guys are the energy when we play our home games and away, as we've seen at, Loyola. But yes, appreciate you guys. This was a lot of fun. So.
We'll have you on again, Trey, in about 10 years to really dig into this season and
really
take you down memory lane.
Really good short stories. It was great.
Oh yeah.
The Cardinals game yesterday, and Kyle Cassidy, 2012 Brad played at SLU.
Legend.
And it was great. I'll end with this. We're sitting there, and it's me, Kyle, a couple other coaches, and Natalia Schertz, coach's wife, and I said, "Hey, give me a good Majerus story." And he tells a funny Majerus story, and Miss Nat, who, make no bones about it, runs our program. All right, that would be the one podcast guest, and she would never do it, but like that is the person you want, because she is the true head coach of our program. But anyways, she kind of walks away from the group and like ends up in another part of the suite there at the Cardinals game. And Kyle's great. He goes, "All right, now that she's gone, I have the real Majerus story I want to say." It wasn't necessarily PG enough to say. So, and he launches the story. So I thought you guys would like that. So, because anyone I see, that work for Majerus or played for Majerus, I'm always like, "Give me a good one." So, and finally, when Natalia walked away, he's like, "All right, I can tell the one I want to tell." So, I thought you guys would like that. But,
you gotta I'll plug this the old podcast, The House That Rick Built. We did a bunch of old player interviews. They're super interesting. I'm sure Zach, ZB, you would get it.
Yep.
You'd get a kick out of it. Majerus stories. The one with Kyle Cassidy, we drank like a 30-pack sitting there in my living room.
I gotta dig that up from the archive.
Yes, I'll shoot you the link. But there's some great Majerus stories with Brian Conklin. We're trying to get back to it, but yeah, guys, really any time. Anytime.
Okay,
just
thank you guys.
Call us.
Thank you guys.
It was really cool too. So it was awesome. We enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I definitely did enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Roll Bills.
Roll Bills.
Pete, let's talk about the week in Billiken athletics. And it was, despite the fact that we just had that incredible interview with ZB and Trey Green, there was a lot that happened this week.
It was a really newsy week for SLU sports. Men's basketball, Zach, when we're talking about the good, they celebrated that 2026 men's basketball team on Tuesday. The program did finalize the roster for next season. We'll get into that celebration. We'll get into that roster. Really exciting stuff. But we've got the other side of the coin this week too, Zach, and that is that SLU discontinued a sport with a 50-year history at the university. And we'll jump into that first, actually. But Zach, in terms of what are we doing here this week, the kind of thing that has us throwing up our hands, I think it's that the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. The expansion's on track to be formalized in the coming weeks, with mid-May as the target and the new format to begin next year. So we'll cover this change, what it means for SLU, what it means for the tournament, and all of our thoughts once they make it official. But in the meantime, you and I have a lot of other subjects to cover, don't we?
Yes, we do. And that really starts with the news that came out of Billiken Athletics, I believe, on Monday. And that is that SLU would be discontinuing the men's and women's tennis programs. And yeah, I think we saw this coming.
I'm going to cover what the details here, Zach,
okay.
and then I want to hand it over to you, because this is something that you've been really mulling over for a long time, and you've been kind of you've brought it up on the show multiple times, and I know you have some opinions here. So,
sure,
it's even though it's not a complete surprise, we still thought we were done talking about tennis for the season last week, right? When they lost in the A10 tournament. But here we are to talk about it again, potentially for the last time. So Chris May's quote after they announced it on Monday night that it would be discontinued effective immediately, quote, "After a thorough and strategic review of our NCAA Division I sport offerings, we have made the difficult decision to discontinue the men's and women's tennis programs. The landscape of intercollegiate athletics continues to evolve nationally, and universities are making hard decisions to best position their programs for long-term sustainability and success. This decision is not a reflection of our tennis student athletes and staff. We are grateful for the contributions of head coach James Tobin, staff members Lizzie Barlow and Emilian Burnell, and all of our men's and women's tennis student athletes." So this strategic review was conducted by the athletic department and recommended to the university leadership, which accepted it. The report specifically cited facilities, operations, and community engagement. The press release followed that with, "Given the current landscape of collegiate tennis, we determined there are limited opportunities to consistently compete at a high level. All 3 coaching positions have been terminated. There are 19 players in the program, 10 men and 9 women. 5 of those 19 are graduating this spring, 4 from the men's team, 1 from the women's. And then university personnel will meet with the other 14 to individually help determine their next steps. Even though the transfer portal window for tennis does not begin until May 4th, the impacted players are permitted to enter immediately due to the discontinuation of sport exception, is what they call it."
There are some wild graphics for the transfer portal, by the way, in college tennis.
Oh, I know. So just to wrap this up before I send it your way, Zach, SLU will sponsor 16 total programs after the elimination of tennis. The minimum to compete in Division I is 14.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I had it counted that we had that this would bring us to 14.
Okay,
I mean, this is right. I know this is right. I mean, I'm sure you got this right. But I'm talking about before this even happened. I have not read a lot of what you're reading, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a lot of this is just like, from the release and
no,
kind of stuff.
But to be honest with you, I totally thought we were getting to 14 with this elimination. That's all.
No, I know. So this is actually the first time programs have been canceled at SLU since golf in 2006. They said there's no other plans to discontinue any programs at this time, but they even shut the door on a fundraiser to rescue the program, right? Yes. Like they said, this decision is final. So if alums or whoever wanted to get something together to save it, they just said no, it's not happening. So Zach, Did we see this coming? I mean, like I think people by now know the answer, but let me know where you've been on this one.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, here's kind of the funny part. At least from my perspective, is I forgot about the tennis team.
Yeah,
like I just would we'd talk about it on the show, and I wouldn't think about them again until I read the words on the page. Yeah. So, like, I forgot that we had one to contract. So, it's kind of wild in that way. I did, so I forgot to pay attention to whether it was we were not going to have a team next year. But you go and you look at the Twitter account, and there's no social media. They've been dormant for over a year. No match recaps until midseason. No preseason write-up. No schedule posted before the season. I think we saw it with SLU because we're close to it, proximity. It's happening at other schools, and I think people on a larger scale are kind of say, whoa. Arkansas drops it. Lindenwood, they dropped them in SIUE and SIUC dropped in 17. And so it's not, like I said, there's 16 sports, or what I thought there were 16 sports down to 14. It just made sense.
That's what I read, but now that I'm actually counting it up, I think you may be right. Like, it looks like 16.
Unless they're talking about, unless there's some sort of, I'm going to say cross country might be our issue, or there might be an issue with one of the swimming and diving.
Yeah, I mean, are they separating out swimming and diving or track and field?
That is my theory, that they're separating out cross country from track and field, and swimming and diving.
But that could be possible. I mean, if you just hover over sports on their website,
right?
There's 7 men and 9 women, and tennis is going to go away on both sides, right? So
yes, correct. So that's where I got the idea from. Now that I'm thinking about it, clearly they're separating them.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, there was nothing. It was just, they hired James Tobin, and no disrespect, but it's not a hire that you would have expected for a program that had a long-term vision.
So given everything you've just said, how long ago do you think this decision was made? I mean, when do you think this report was being run up the chain? And when do you think it was unofficial versus official kind of thing?
I would imagine when Stuckey left, they probably started reviewing the program, because I don't think you make that decision. I don't think you hire James Tobin if you I mean, to me, it seems like a hire you make as a placeholder.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be unfair to Tobin. That's a horrible job to take. That job is awful. It's an impossible job. And I don't know. Stuckey's probably the best tennis coach in the nation. I got to imagine. I got to imagine it was before they hired Tobin.
Yeah.
Or at least they were talking. That's when that's when I think it probably started rattling inside the athletic department.
Right. So a lot of the reaction to this so far, and by the way, there have been a lot of reaction. This story really, I mean, we got retweeted by Andy Katz when we put this out there.
He's kind of a tennis guy, isn't he?
Yeah. So it's been one of those things that really seems to have gotten a lot of people's reaction, right? And a lot of that reaction just seems to be oh, they're going to spend more on basketball now, or people are saying this is another sign of the downfall of college sports. Do you think those takes are fair? Is that what's going on here?
I think those takes are fair in the grand scheme of things. I think there may be situations where that's Exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think monetary, profit is, or I don't know what role like profit and private equity is playing into. I don't know enough about that world. I think what we're seeing here is a school that has, uh, I think certainly the answer is somewhere in the middle, right? The what kicks the ball rolling downhill is NIL and having to put resources into NIL and payroll, and then it just rolls downhill until you can't afford the tennis, because you have to, like, you're taking money and it just keeps going, it trickles up. Just like I don't know, man. I think it's really more of like this specific situation where SLU had a sport that was off campus that they were like, it's really a terrible experience. Yeah. Like, I'm not kidding. James Tobin, that's the worst job in college tennis. And that's one of the worst situations in college sports. And that's not a knock on anybody. It's just the way it is, given all the factors involved. And that's going back to when they took tennis off campus to build Chaffetz, which is not a bad decision. Yeah. Not rebuilding the tennis courts would be the bad decision, but yeah, I don't know.
So you think so? Yeah. So it's the trickle down, trickle up effect, as you call it. Do you think tennis is worse than others in terms of like the expenditure and like how much the program, quote unquote, loses relative to other programs?
I don't think it's about that. Like, I don't think the number matters. I think that number is not going to be dumped into the payroll for the men's basketball team this year. I don't think that's how it's going to really work. I think it's really just going to be about ensuring that those other sports down there, like track and field, as far as the expenditures are, given a little bit better, being a little bit better taken care of financially. And so I think that's important. Like, if you're going to have a Division I athletic department and you're going to field a Division I athletic team, those Division I athletes deserve a Division I experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's all part of putting winning teams on the field.
And one of the things that I think kind of gets lost in all of this is the way you're looking at quote unquote revenue for a lot of these other sports that are not basketball. And we don't really think about the fact that there's a limited number of scholarships that have to be spread out over a full team, which means what? It means tuition is being paid by the athletes,
right?
At least some tuition. And nobody ever really talks about that. They think of tickets, TV, merch, like all of the normal things you think about when you think of sports and when you think about football and basketball, maybe, but you're not thinking about the fact that there actually is tuition here. Like, nobody looks at like what the history department spent last year and says the history department's losing money because they pull from the revenue that is tuition dollars to the university.
It's and that's interesting too when you look at what sport got cut, right? It's the sport with the fewest number of athletes on the team.
Mm-hmm.
The tennis, women's tennis and men's tennis, they aren't on full scholarship, so they are paying tuition. But there are other sports that are paying as much out of pocket tuition. Like track and field, there's more athletes, there's more tuition dollars. There's more athletes swimming and diving, more tuition dollars. So beyond the facilities, there is, like you said, that issue with the tuition.
Yeah, and SLU is not a huge university. It's not a small university, but it's the size where, like, we're talking about across the athletic department, several hundred athletes, and that's a lot of tuition dollars. And so it's definitely something that gives you pause, when you start thinking about that. Zach, another angle of this that people kind of brought up this week that I was, it's been on my mind before, but I don't know how much I buy it. But do you think the fact that this sport is so international in terms of the roster makeup, do you think that made it an easier decision to cut?
No, I mean, well, no.
Yeah.
I specifically think that they just could not, like, they were giving athletes shitty experiences. So, like, stop. We're going to not give them shitty experience and let them go find a better experience. Like, we can't provide a first-rate experience. We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah. It's the only,
and that is exactly what I wanted. Like, I would have preferred them fund, tennis or find something else like they could do on campus.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what has to be done. Like,
yeah. So 9 of the 14 remaining players who still have eligibility are international students, which has been pointed out. But I think I'd also like to point out, Zach, in terms of just the experience, like you say, this is the last sport that plays off campus. And I think this is probably the first time in SLU history, maybe going back to when they actually played in West Pine Gym, where we can say every sport is actually now playing on campus.
And remember, like, the second in command in the athletic department, Janet Oberly, played off campus for her career here at SLU.
Yeah,
so she knew that life. So, I mean, like, if that, it would be great if they could bring tennis back to campus. But if you can't bring it back to campus, then you can't keep like holding these players. Surely going to college and playing on a 10 team is a very fine way to spend your college. Like, it's probably better than the way I did, right?
Yeah.
But, like, still, like, you're not providing them a first class experience. Let's get the other sports that we do have on campus better experience. So I think this is literally just, trying to do right by the athlete. And I think that's what I've asked of the athletic department this whole time. So
do you think it says anything about tennis more broadly, the fact that this seems to be the one that colleges are cutting? Is it too much of a country
I think
club
it's
sport?
just a weird sport.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a spectator sport. As much as like college tennis is not a spectator sport, right? Obviously, like, pro tennis is one of the most beautiful, Wimbledon and French Open and all of that. Like, it's got the most pageantry. But, like, college, no, like, it's hard to watch. It's hard to spectate. It's impossible to spectate. I think it's just sports ebb and flow. Like, look at, like, bowling. Like, I think we take these sports that have become institutions for granted. Like, we all thought that, like I don't know, tennis, it just became so ingrained that it was going to be here forever. Well, I mean, sometimes sports go dormant and are only played in whispers for, so I don't think there's anything wrong with tennis or, like, anything's wrong. I just think it's on a downward trajectory. It got hit by the pickleball bug, man.
It did. We also haven't had, certainly on the men's side, we haven't had, at the pro level, many American champions lately. Women's is a different story.
Not generational. Like, we haven't had much generational talent. Like, we've had,
the kind
that one guy from
Georgia
that I can't remember his name right now. He's that big, the monster tall guy. Was the last one that I remember being like, oh, he made it to the top. But I mean, back when I was in high school, like, Roddick was big.
Yeah.
Like, tennis was people used homophobic slurs towards tennis when I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. By the time I was a senior, tennis was like a pre-pickleball movement. Like, everybody was playing tennis. And I was like, what happened here? So, like, it had a big boom with Roddick and when Federer but if Americans aren't, like, I need representation. I'm sorry. Like, Bill, like, I love sports, but I struggle with games that aren't my team, like my favorite team.
Yeah.
So, like, I need an American to root for. I'm sorry. To get really hyped, I need an American to be doing well. And I think that's, it just is what it is. It's, some people are deep into the sport. Some people have stepped away from it. It is what it is.
Let me give you one more angle on the why of it all. Is this about the Big East, Zach? In other words, if SLU is trying to be as attractive as possible to a potential Big East expansion.
Let me put my tinfoil hat on for this one. This is a wild question.
So is this us like getting rid of some, low rent program that plays off campus for 0 fans and has no support whatsoever? Maybe it makes more sense to not have it than to have, that one program that you're clearly not supporting. Do you buy into that at all?
Maybe. I mean, look, like that's kind of to Chris May's point in that quote. I think it could be with the Big East in mind, meaning that, when we get the call, that SLU needs to be ready to compete at every sport. Mm-hmm. Like you're giving your team sports that have tickets sales, that could have ticket sales or have, people sit out and watch or kind of really buy into, they need to be fully funded, and they need an appropriate amount of funds. So I think if you're going to drop a sport, it's a sport that nobody like I don't think it has anything to do with yeah, it probably does. It all comes together. It's all a conspiracy, guys.
It goes all the way to the top.
So it goes all the way to the top. By the way, I really do like Dr. Phaser.
Oh, yeah.
I find him delightful.
Yeah. I got to meet him in Pittsburgh. Nice guy.
Yeah. I think he's great for the university.
Last question on the subject, period. They say no more programs are going to be cut, that they only have room. If the math is right in the article, there's only 2 more or one sport if it's both men's and women's. But do you believe that?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the one thing that, what swimming and diving has going for it and track and field have going for it is that they have their home facility they can practice in. They don't have to leave campus. It's not ideal, but it's also, the away, like they don't have to host big events.
Yeah. Well, swimming can't. I mean, track
swimming
could,
can't. No, they can't. Track could, but nobody's coming here because there's not enough seating.
But swimming just flat out can't host a
right. But it doesn't matter. I don't think that there's I think it's actually super low rent for them to run those sports. So there's no. I mean, running. Track and field.
You mean literally like low overhead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I think swimming and diving is an incredibly low overhead. I mean, speedos and so it is the lowest overhead sport, I think, in college athletics.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have the pool, and it's the pool in a rec center, so they're gonna have it anyway. That's not, the pool isn't specially for the team.
They should put in a new pool, by the way. That's a ridiculous. Yeah, that's a ridiculous. No, I meant SLU Athletics should fund a new pool, which is a ridiculous ask. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. What they should do is put a tank in Chaffetz Arena and host a swimming competition. That's totally realistic.
We got to do it LaSalle style.
A
sub basement pool under the basketball field.
Oh, love it. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Great scene.
Oh, what a great scene.
Filmed in Gola Arena.
Pete, we talked a lot of men's basketball in that talk with Trey Green and ZB, but we got some commitments. The roster has been completed, and it's 2 local guys. And this this was one of the few Josh Schertz or Travis Ford signings where the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
I feel like both of our last 2 coaches were guys that kept things close to the vest when it came to recruiting. This was obvious.
It was. And it's funny because with both of these guys, right away you heard SLU's involved. And then you didn't hear anything else about either of them. And then they were committed, right? So it's not to say that other schools didn't reach out. And Pearson, Sheek Pearson, the first one we'll talk about, actually told Tamar's share that he did talk to a couple others. But you didn't get names, you didn't get timeline, you got nothing. It was just you didn't hear anything but SLU from the beginning. So the first one, Zach, is Sheek Pearson. He announced his commitment on Friday, and from the rumors we'd heard, this commitment's been simmering for quite some time. But SLU put out their own official graphic immediately upon the announcement, which is an indication that he'd already signed, made it official as well. As just a quick refresher, Pearson's a 6'11", 215-pound, yes, 215. He said he put on over 10 pounds while at Marquette.
BMF.
Yeah, progress. Because he is really lean, right? He's got a really slender frame. But he redshirted this past season. He's from St. Charles and attended John Burroughs High School, where he played for SLU alum Daryl Pee Wee Leonard. Those who have been around a while remember that name. But in his last year at Burroughs, he averaged 16.6 points a game, over 10 rebounds a game, 2 assists, just under 1 steal, and 2.3 blocks. He shot 64.2% from the field, 63% from the line, only attempted 10 three-pointers all season, so that's not really part of his game at this point. He won back-to-back Peach Jam titles with Brad Beal Elite, which we'll mention again for the next guy. It's important. He reclassified actually as a 2025 recruit from the class of 26. So you could also look at him as just a freshman this season if you want to pretend that he never went to Marquette. Top 50 recruit nationally in the class of 26 before he reclassified. I believe he was as high as number 36, which would make him the highest rated signing since Larry Hughes. Cartier Gordon was a top 10 recruit early in high school, but by the time he signed, he was around like number 50-ish. So Schertz said, quote, "We're really excited to add a player and person of Sheek Pearson's caliber to our program. He's not just talented, he's super competitive, extremely ambitious, with the horsepower behind it in terms of his work ethic. Sheek is a fantastic rim protector who rebounds on both ends of the floor. He's the rare archetype who can create vertical and horizontal spacing. Sheek's combination of humility, confidence, and drive will allow him to reach his immense ceiling. It's a great day for Billiken basketball." I will add that if you want to watch some video, there's plenty available from his time with Brad Beal Elite, especially when they won the 2025 Peach Jam. He had the second chance dunk that basically sealed that win. We discussed his play style last week in anticipation of this, so we won't get into it again. But Zach, when you look at the front court, Kerr, Pearson, Diakite, Strong, Michele, it skews young, mostly unproven, but the potential is through the roof. And when you start thinking about different combinations in this front court, it gets pretty fun.
It's going to be great when we roll out the lineup of Kerr at point guard, Pearson at shooting guard, Diakite small forward, Michele power forward, and Strong at the center.
It's gonna be
Strong Michele. Let's
flip those two. Yeah, that's gonna be a blast. We're gonna go ultra big.
Ultra big. Well, that's called the what's that called? The upset proof.
Yes, that's what
the
they call
upset proof lineup.
As big as possible, size everywhere.
How about JMO White?
Man, yeah, this was the one we were less sure about, but still pretty sure, right? So he announced his commitment on Saturday. As with Pearson, we'd been hearing rumors for a while, and once again, SLU put out their graphic immediately. So he had signed. We've talked about him before, but I do want to hit a few different aspects that we didn't touch on. Frank Cusimano claims he's up to 6'9". I was operating under the assumption that he'd made it to 6'8", but either way, he's grown a few inches in under 2 years. I wasn't really thinking of him, Zach, as a big, quote unquote, big on this team, but maybe I need to kind of recalibrate based on that measurement.
Remember when Willie Reed was tall at 6'9"?
Yeah, 6'9", and he was long. He was a heck of a shot blocker.
But he was like the tall guy on the team.
We looked at him like, wow, we're big now.
Yes.
And now he looks like a shooting guard on this roster.
Oh my goodness.
So he's the son of 9-year NBA veteran Jahadi White, who was listed at 6'9", 290 when he was in the league. That's the one thing I remember about him is he was a big man, big broad frame. Schertz's quote on this signing, quote, Jamison is someone we prioritized when we arrived 2 years ago. While young for his grade, his size, physicality, and toughness jumped out immediately. Through consistent hard work, his skill level has started to catch up to his physical attributes, which has made him into a Swiss Army knife on both ends of the floor. JMO is a fierce competitor who has won at the highest levels in both high school and AAU. That is no coincidence, and we look forward to him bringing that winning pedigree to our basketball program. So let's talk about that winning pedigree really quick, Zach. He did his senior year at East St. Louis after 3 at Chaminade. He averaged 19.6 points a game, 13 rebounds a game, 1.6 assists, 1.5 steals, and 3 blocks per game with a slash line of 447, 375, 561. But here's his resume. Illinois Class 3A state champ, 3A tournament MVP as a senior, set the East St. Louis records for both points and rebounds in a single season, which is crazy when you think about East St. Louis's history. Back-to-back Missouri Class 6 runner-up at Chaminade, 2-time team captain, 2-time All-State team, 3-time All-MCC team, so freshman, sophomore, junior, 3-time district champ, back-to-back Peach Jam championships with Brad Beal Elite. We just mentioned his teammate, Sheek Pearson, by the way, did the same. Scored 16 in the most recent title game, the one that Sheek sealed with that dunk. And as with Sheek, there's plenty of highlight videos available from his time with Brad Beal Elite, but there's also a lot more of his East St. Louis highlights than Sheek has for Burroughs. Bottom line for me, Zach, is you have to love a player with this much winning DNA. I mean, like I just that really jumps out at me is all this dude has done is win everywhere he's been.
Remind me why he transferred.
The best I could find was a quote from the Belleville News Democrat, you know, the newspaper, the news site over in Belleville.
Yeah.
They talked to him, I want to say late January, and he had a quote about, you know, nothing against Chaminade, nothing personal, enjoyed my time there, but we just felt like it was time for a change of scenery, and I wanted to go somewhere where I would be pushed a little harder. He specifically mentioned, you know, coaches who were going to yell at him and stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting. Like he made it sound like it was a stylistic difference. But both he and his brother, Jahadi Jr. went there.
Mm-hmm.
But his brother, who's older, he's the older one, did not play this basketball season. He played football, didn't play basketball. He's a D1 recruit for both sports. So we don't
Must be nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got the idea he was leaning football, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does like a prep year or something like that before he goes. I don't know.
Doesn't he understand that he can play basketball and then just go over to the NFL and say, "Hey,
I'm a tight end."
I'm a tight end.
Yeah, Mo Alley Cox, Tony
Does
Gonzalez.
he not? Has somebody?
Antonio Gates. There's plenty of. Who was the guy? Julius Peppers, was he the one who played both basketball and football for UNC?
I don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. There is a path.
There is apparently a path to a 5-5 rule. There's an update on this.
Yeah, NCAA President Charlie Baker told ESPN on Monday that he's pretty optimistic that the new age-based eligibility proposal will happen. The D1 Board of Directors met on Monday and will recommend not implementing this rule retroactively for graduates, those who have just exhausted their eligibility. He said, quote, if you've used up your eligibility, you've used it up. But on Thursday, they distributed a chart to member schools outlining the implementation scenarios of the 5-year age-based concept for eligibility. And it looks like they're going to adopt it for 2026-27, but they're voting on it in May. And I guess that will also include tournament expansion. So there's a lot of big rulings coming down here. But final waivers under the current rules must be submitted by July 31st. But Zach, just kind of first impressions of this. Do you like it?
Can't we just call it U23 basketball or some shit? Like, what are we talking? Like, why do we keep trying to come up with Don't they just do that everywhere else?
Like, yeah, isn't that Olympic soccer? Like, is like the age limit on Olympic
Can't
soccer?
we just call it an age limit? Like, you can't be 23 and playing college basketball.
Yeah,
Like, is that a problem? Like, I don't understand why that's a problem. I don't understand the law, Pete.
Yeah, and we'll get more details.
It feels as though things are unfair.
It does. I assume BYU will still get exceptions, for the missions and stuff like that. But yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'd be bad news.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
if they have to cut them off at 23,
no.
that's a lot of guys who will only get to play 3 years.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if that happened.
It would.
Dude, I don't get it. I'm one of the this is one of the things where I'm the old guy in the room who's like, what happened to the sport I loved?
I will say though, it's just we've got international players coming over as 23-year-old freshmen now, so they're the way
that wasn't unheard of.
But the idea of someone coming over here in their 20s and then potentially being able to play 4 years, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because what are you telling guys who normally out of high school, guys and girls out of high school who would have played college basketball are now being pushed out for European pros who are going to graduate in their late 20s. Does not really rub me the right way. And I'm not, it's nothing personal or political or anything like that. It's just the opportunity is narrowing for the kind of people.
I would be more happy if you're, an 18-year-old. It's not a location issue. It's an age issue.
Correct.
And it's a prior experience issue.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you've been playing pro ball overseas for 3 years,
and you're 20, if you've been playing over there and you're 19,
yeah,
come on over. But if you want to come over and you're 22, then you have 1 year over here.
Exactly. Right. So I like it for that reason. For
also, they're the guys who try to come back to college from the G League are some of the worst people in the sport, right?
That I'm 100% opposed to. Yeah.
No, I know. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page that those people are terrible.
I don't like them.
Okay, cool.
Same page for sure.
So, hey, do you remember how you remember that movie Palm Springs?
Excellent movie. I love it.
Yeah. Do you remember how in the movie they had to relive every day, or was it every? I don't know. They had to relive things over
every day. Yep.
Every day over and over again. So what happened was, I think we're forced to go to the Acrisure series in Palm Springs every year now, much like the movie Palm Springs.
That is, I don't know how I didn't make that connection before, Zach, but that's amazing. This is the best meta commentary you've ever done on the show. I gotta say, that's brilliant. It's
right off the dome. Good. Didn't make the connection until just now.
I love it. Yeah. It's like the producer's season of Curb Your Enthusiasm for anyone who's a Curb fan. But anyway, yeah, per Stu Durando, SLU will return to the Acrisure series in Palm Springs as its MTE this season, because why not? Let's just run it back. The first game will be against Grand Canyon, and the second will either be Stanford or Arizona State, which is going to mean our non-conference schedule is going to have a lot of the same flavor as last season. We asked the question, did every team just sign a 2-year deal with this MTE? But apparently not. It's just kind of working out this way.
No, Pete. What happened is they screwed us with Grand Canyon, and then they said, by the way, you're also playing in this event next year, whether you like it or not.
They're gonna wake up in their hotel beds in Palm Desert next year and just be like what year is it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so last year SLU had Santa Clara, then Stanford, and we played Grand Canyon later. But SLU was supposed to be in the pod with Iowa, Ole Miss, and Utah, but somehow Grand Canyon stepped in and took that spot, and we got Santa Clara, Stanford, and Minnesota in our pod instead. And then Purdue Fort Wayne was the home game. That was kind of the first game of the event. So I assume there will be another bye game type opponent at home before they head out to California, like last time. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of the same flavor as last year, Zach. And then on Friday, John Rothstein announced that SLU would be heading to St. Mary's for the first game of a 2-year home and home series. The game is on November 20th, which is a Friday. And given that the South Florida game is on a neutral site on November 29th, it appears that SLU's Acrisure Series games will actually be earlier in the week than they were last season, because last season we played on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And the whole event has a number of kind of like potted mini tournaments. Some of those were on Tuesday and Wednesday last year. So
they're
that's
taking the cue
probably,
from like kids baseball.
yeah, exactly.
Just a bunch of different tournaments.
Yeah,
Your AAA,
yep. My soccer team has done the same thing. Like we go to this big tournament where it's a lot of little
yeah.
6-team tournaments. So yeah, probably Tuesday and Wednesday this year if they stick with the same schedule. Monday and Tuesday would be ideal, but yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday is fine. It gives them plenty of time to get back for that South Florida game for this season.
Pete, let's talk about this team, the celebration, Tuesday the 28th, man.
Yeah, you went, Zach. It was at
went.
Chaifetz Arena, and I haven't heard a whole lot about it, so I want to hear what it was like.
Well, I was worried after, because a lot of what they did in that recap was kind of what we did, was kind of what I had in my head for the segment with ZB and Trey Green. So I'm sitting there through the event. I'm like, oh, shit. I got to come up with something new. But yeah, no, it was a very, very well put on event. Free popcorn, soda. I think you buy some food. They had a big stage set up, a big curtain background. I think they probably repurposed the Sloosby set, which is like the award ceremony.
Yeah.
But they had a few chairs up there. They had like the panel of the players, and then Josh Schertz, and then Rammer hosted, and it was a good crowd. They showed like segments, like highlight videos from the game, and then talked about the game, and just kind of shot the shit for an hour or so, and then got to go down on the court and get autographs or whatever kids wanted to do, and it was a good time. Really well done.
One of the things I had seen from that is a few different people who said the players hung around like literally until the last fans were done. You know what I mean? Like nobody said, all right, I got a heart. It's been 40 minutes. I got a heart out. I'm gone. Like they all stayed around. And I got to tell you, we've said stuff like this before, but if you're a kid and your favorite player is there until the end, and you guys, SLU basketball, you are making fans for life when you do this. Like fans for life. I as a kid will not forget when Scott Highmark and was gracious enough to say hi to me and my family when we went down to the arena one time. I mean, like fans for life. Kids do not forget this stuff, man.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, looking back, like meeting was it Jeff Harris?
Yeah.
Meeting Jeff Harris. He was my favorite. Yeah, the picture of me and Jeff Harris. Like it was a terrible bowl cut, but an awesome picture.
It was the 90s. It was the 90s.
Yeah. So right. I mean, that's something that'll live with me forever. And it's again I think it showed with our segment. We sat. I told them 45 minutes, give or about. And at 45 minutes, we were like, kind of gave them the hint to like, hey, if you guys want out, you can take your out. And they're like, no. And so like the generosity of with their time is a standout. There's a lot of character on this team.
Yep, very much so. Yeah, they talked about they talked about that the story about shirts.
Yeah,
and the team dinner and where he said, listen to that. That's a team that's going to succeed. I mean, this is you really do get that vibe from this team. This is a really good group of guys. The guys who are leaving all Paul and Robbie and Dion, and like those are all really high character guys graduating, and even the guys stepping out, Kalu and Brady too. Just a really fun group, and I think they're going to maintain that with the next group too. When you keep more than half the team, you keep 60% of the roster together in this era. That's really meaningful and continuity of that. So, yeah, good group.
We really thought we were going to enjoy Jordan Goodwin's playoff run, and it's hard work being a Billiken fan, as some would say. I wouldn't. I think that's a terrible phrase. But Jordan Goodwin he was injured, calf strain early in game one, Suns and Thunder, and just was not able to get back in the lineup. And the Suns were swept, losing 131 to 122. I think I think there's enough evidence here for me to, connect these two things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how many guys they had left who really have that dog in them, but Goodwin certainly does, and you're right, that is related. But Zach, now comes the fun part for Jordan, right? Like, yeah, he wants to be out there and playing, but now he becomes a free agent on the cusp of his first really big contract. So far, the quotes out of the Suns front office have been really positive, like making it sound like they want to keep him. But we'll follow as things develop. It's a tough contract situation there. They have some albatross contracts still on the books.
Bobby Bonilla. Sorry, that's the Mets.
As much as I hate to say it about my fellow St. Louisan and Chaminade grad Brad Beal, that contract is not a favorable one if you're an accountant for the Phoenix Suns. So we'll keep you updated on how this all develops. But fingers crossed that Jordan finally really gets that big NBA payday and changes his family's lives, man.
Pete, let's kick it around the A10 and really college basketball, if we have anything. And it's presented by our friends over at 2 Men in a Garden.
Yeah, and we don't have much around the A10 portal this week, Zach, just a few names, but that's all right because it's always a good week to talk about 2 Men in a Garden pickles. We went to a restaurant in my neighborhood called Kiki, which is a Japanese restaurant. And my daughter, who I've mentioned before as being a real pickle fan, they have pickles on the menu there. And so I was like, okay, she's not an adventurous eater. It's not always fun to go out to eat with a picky eater. I don't know if you know that, Zach. But we got the pickles there. And
you've been out to eat with me before.
And
you're very aware of that.
She tried one and immediately put it back, which surprised me because, normally she's pretty receptive, and I thought they were quite good. But I'm going to have to reward her, or she doesn't, not that she deserves it for being a picky eater, but 2 Men in a Garden pickles are absolutely a reward for her. She loves them. She'll tear through them. And pretty much anything except the spicy or the smoky barbecue. If you go classic dill with her, it's a real competition for that jar, I got to tell you. So head on over to 2minutegarden.com. They've got 6 different pickle varieties for you to choose from. I like all of them. Smoky barbecue is one I will direct you to if you like something really offbeat. And I think the best value on here is the classic dill pickle spears. It's $1 more than the others, but it's a much bigger jar. So if you're a pickle fan like I am, you know what? Try all 6. Go over there, 2minutegarden.com. Use the code MMP for free shipping. Tell them we sent you. We like them. They like us. Everybody wins. 2minutegarden.com.
Some portal news. Quadri Bashiru from Longwood has transferred to Davidson. Duquesne picked up Edgy Demir out of Oregon. Fordham picks up Lateef Patrick Jr. out of Stephen F. Austin. George Mason grabs Elijah Jones out of UTEP, aka Texas Western. LaSalle picks up Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
I was excited for you to get to this name.
Unique Rink out of Hampton.
Rink.
All-name team. All-name team.
First team all A10, man.
Oh, my goodness.
That name.
Dude, there were some this weekend, the the youth baseball tournaments.
Sure.
Yeah. There were some names, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting crazy
Yeah.
out there.
Yep. There were some names. Loyola is grabbing Ryan Agarwal. We're going to see Agarwal and Sharma go head to head twice next season.
Agarwal, he didn't hit the dagger that won it for Stanford last year, but he hit an equally absurd three-pointer right before that one that I think a lot of people have overlooked and in that Stanford game as like being a real dagger. But Agarwal's a kid that actually Travis Ford offered when he was in high school. Fun fact.
Fun fact. That is a fun fact. Jason Fontenay out of UC Santa Barbara is heading to the Rhode Island. Ryan Heath out of Damon is joining Michael McDonald at St. Bonaventure.
Yep, the third from that team.
Pete, let's head over to the Diamond. Rough weekend for Billiken baseball. It's not been a good season.
They're not dead yet officially, but they are on life support. And let's run it down, Zach. The Tuesday night game they had scheduled for Missouri State was canceled due to weather. So they headed out to VCU, and on Friday, May 1st in game one, they lost 12-1. SLU's only run came on an RBI single from Hank Gomrich, but SLU was down 7-0 before that, and it only got worse from there. 5-1 was the loss in game two that day. SLU's only run and only hit came in the top of the first, and the bats went completely silent after that. Luckily, the bats showed up for Sunday the 3rd. I don't know why they took Saturday off. Maybe they moved that game up for weather that to give them a doubleheader on Friday. But lost 10-7 ultimately because they struggled on the mound again, unfortunately. SLU got out to a 6-0 lead after 2 innings, and VCU had tied it by the end of the 5th. SLU answered with 1 more in the 6th, and VCU responded again with 4 more of their own in the bottom of the inning. Gomrich led SLU again, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Austin Newegg scored twice. Next up, Zach, they head to Lindenwood for a Tuesday night game, then travel to the Bronx to take on Fordham in a 3-game weekend series. In terms of the standings, they're, like I said before, technically not eliminated from the A10 tournament seeding yet, but they need everything to go right, including basically 2 sweeps to finish the season, and the teams ahead of them need to pretty much lose out. The top 10 make the tournament. SLU is currently in 10th, and they're like 5 games back of that 7th spot. So it is, it's not looking good, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Zach, meanwhile, softball is getting ready to play in their A10 tournament.
Yeah, they played 2 and lost 2 at Belmont Friday and Saturday. The first one went 3-1. Isabel Royal, she had a quality outing on the mound, but got almost no support at the plate. The Billikens just had 2 hits in that one. Turned around again in Nashville. SLU got decent pitching from Riley Nelson and Anna Christ. Could not get anything going at the plate. 2 hits again. The final record 23-25, 13-10 overall in the Atlantic 10. Good for a 2 seed, which is kind of wild to me.
Yep. Yeah. Look at those standings, and there's a lot of teams with the same record, basically.
Wow. That somebody had to do a lot of get the old Excel out.
Yes, they did. Tiebreakers on tiebreakers.
Next up will be the Atlantic 10 tournament here in St. Louis at the Billikens Sports Center. Last time I checked, there's still no press box. I guess we're not doing that. But yeah, most other A10 teams had conference matchups this weekend. Again, SLU could only sit and wait for its seeding fate. Obviously, they played at Belmont. Things broke just right, and they held on to that 2 seed. The bracket is as follows. It'll start with number 4 Fordham playing number 5 St. Joe's, with the winner getting Loyola. The Billikens will await the winner of Dayton and George Washington. Double elimination format. championship game will be on Saturday. So the Billikens will kick it off Thursday at 2:30 p.m. And then if they win, would play at noon on Friday. If they lose, I would assume they would turn around and play Thursday evening.
That's right.
So,
the way that it's always later that day that you play that elimination game in the consolation bracket. Yeah.
Pete, talk a little bit about track and field, and then let's get out of here.
Yeah, so they had the A10 championships on Saturday and Sunday, May 2nd and 3rd in Fairfax, Virginia, on the campus of George Mason University. And it was really good, especially for the men's side of things. On day one, Madeline Rowald won a gold medal in the javelin, new school record throw of 49.21 meters. Tristan Boatman took silver in the hammer, and then Dalton Perry took bronze in the javelin with his own school record, 61.35 meters. On day two, who else? Sam Lamaze won gold in the 400, beat his school record yet again, running 46.42. Tristan Boatman took bronze in the shot put with a distance of 15.44. That's his fifth A10 medal in his SLU career, which was just 2 seasons after he transferred from Troy. So he's been fantastic. The men's 4x4 won silver with a time of 3:11.08, another new school record. And there was one more in the 4x100, a time of 41.56. So that is overall 8 school records set at the meet, 6 podium finishes. The men finished 4th overall, matching their best A10 performance ever, which they did in 2017. The women finished 10th. And then next up, Zach, we've got the NCAA West first round, May 27th in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think at the very least we should have Sam Lamaze running the 400. I think he's well into the thick of that, probably even in the top half of qualifiers by now. But we'll find out soon enough, and we'll let you know if anybody else is going to be running in that too.
Billiken fans, that's going to do it. We hope you enjoyed the episode, the segment with Boisvert and Green. Thank you all for listening. As we said after that interview, roll Bills.
Roll Bills.